Hey guys, this is Nate Hale here with the Rapscallion Brigade, and I know that most everyone probably knows what's going on with EA and Star Wars Battlefront 2. So I've resisted the urge to make any videos about any of the things that have been going on. For one thing, as soon as you make a video about something, EA kind of outdates it because every single day something brand new is happening with this game, and they're making changes. They're really struggling right now because they have really dug a hole for themselves in that they designed this game to be focused around getting people to pay them money for loot boxes, and they've taken away microtransactions, and now they're just left with a game that is broken because their main focus, their main mechanic, is now gone from it, and they're just left with a lot of grind. And they're fixing things, changing things, but it's mostly treating the symptoms rather than the actual disease. But that's a whole other video, and there's a lot of people making great videos about all this and keeping everybody informed, and I enjoy watching all of those. But one of the things that has stood out to me is every time I read a statement from EA, or I hear something that one of their executives or representatives says, I see what they're saying, or I hear what they're saying, but I also I have a little EA translator in my head that kind of tells me what EA really means. So we're going to look at this for just a little bit today. Just a couple of statements, not a very long video. The first thing we're going to look at is when EA responded to criticisms of their progression systems in Star Wars Battlefront 2. And they were getting a lot of flack on Reddit, and rightfully so. And people were complaining about the problems with the game. And they responded to that. And of course, everybody knows that resulted in the most downvoted Reddit comment in history. And you already know about that. We don't have to rehash that whole account. But this was the comment. And like I said, when I read this, I see the words there, but I also, my brain just immediately goes to, what do they really mean? This is what they're saying, but what are they hiding? So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to look at what they said, and then I'm going to show you what the little EA translator in my head tells me. So you see that first part there. The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes. This is what I see. The intent is to make progression so laborious and frustrating, players will be driven to spend real-world money buying chances to speed up the process. They go on to say, as for cost, we selected initial values based upon data from the open beta and other adjustments made to milestone rewards before launch. Among other things, we're looking at average per-player credit earn rates on a daily basis, and we'll be making constant adjustments to ensure that players have challenges that are compelling, rewarding, and of course, attainable via gameplay. What do they really mean? As for cost, we selected initial values based upon what we thought might motivate players to purchase loot boxes to bypass the grind. Among other things, we're looking at average per-player credit earn rates on a daily basis. We've tied credits earned to time spent rather than player skill to take away any challenges that may have been compelling or rewarding, because we want you to spend money. But we want to be able to say that you can attain the items you want via gameplay. Technically, you can. We appreciate the candid feedback and the passion the community has put forth around the current topics here on Reddit, our forums, and across numerous social media outlets. Our team will continue to make changes and monitor community feedback and update everyone as soon and as often as we can. Our team will continue to backpedal and make changes only when the community calls us on our crap. So you see what I'm saying here. You kind of get the gist of what we're talking about. Yes, I hear what you're saying, or I see the comments that you've typed, and I hear the corporate speak, but there are other real meanings under the surface. that my mind immediately goes to. Now, eventually, EA was forced to remove microtransactions from Star Wars Battlefront 2, and that's a whole section of the story unto itself. In other words, most people speculate, or I guess at this point we're pretty sure that this is something that actually happened. At least someone from Disney called someone from EA and said, "Look, you're ruining this. You need to fix it." And so EA was forced to remove microtransactions from Star Wars Battlefront 2, and they made a statement when they did this. They said, "Our goal has always been to create the best possible game for all of you, devoted Star Wars fans and game players alike. We've also had an ongoing commitment to constantly listen, tune, and evolve the experience as it grows. You've seen this with both the major adjustments and polish we've made over the past several weeks." This is what I hear. "Our goal has always been to create the most profitable game possible for us. We've had an ongoing commitment to constantly see how far we can push you and then back off when it becomes clear you won't stand for certain practices. You've seen this over the past several weeks as we've tried to implement shady tactics into our progression system that might prey on people with addictive tendencies. But as we approach the worldwide launch, it's clear that many of you feel there are still challenges in the design. We've heard the concerns about potentially giving players unfair advantages, and we've heard that this is overshadowing an otherwise great game. This was never our intention. Sorry we didn't get this right. But as we approach the worldwide launch, it's clear that many of you feel that we've royally screwed this up. We've heard the concerns about potentially giving players unfair advantages. It was always our intention for players to have advantages based upon what they've bought. Then when we show you that you were killed with superior perks and weapons that you too can purchase, you will spend more money too. Sorry, not sorry. We hear you loud and clear. So we're turning off all in-game purchases. We will now spend more time listening, adjusting, balancing, and tuning. This means that the option to purchase crystals in the game is now offline, and all progression will be earned through gameplay. The ability to purchase crystals in-game will become available at a later date, only after we've made changes to the game. We'll share more details as we work through this. But because you won't shut up about it, we're turning off all in-game purchases. We will now spend more time trying to figure out the best way to accomplish our end game. This means that the option to purchase crystals in the game is now offline, and all progression will be earned through gameplay. The ability to purchase crystals in-game will become available again if and when this all blows over. Of course, now there's been a few videos that I've seen, or a few articles that I've seen, that we're talking about the fact that EA may be completely giving up on microtransactions. They might be just going to leave it alone and not try to reinstitute these. But some of the statements that they've made indicate that they're not giving up on it. This is their whole business model, and they're putting it into every single game that they release, and they're ruining a bunch of franchises, trying to make them ongoing services, and they see this as a very lucrative opportunity. They're not worried about what they're doing to the games or how they're messing with gameplay, or that gamers, for the most part, are just putting up with these microtransactions. Gamers don't enjoy this. They're just putting up with it. But EA is not giving up on microtransactions. We're really watching how people are playing the game. We're trying to understand, are there certain modes where microtransactions may be more interesting than not? What are the consumers saying about it? How are the consumers playing the game? What do the metrics look like? We're learning and listening to the community to decide how best to roll that out in the future. We don't care how people play games. We care about how much money we can make. We're trying to understand, are there certain modes where microtransactions won't be rejected by the players that will allow us to rake in the cash? We're learning and listening to the community to decide how we might be able to get away with our real objective in the future. And then they say, we pulled off on the microtransactions because the real issue the consumer had was they felt it was a pay-to-win mechanic. The reality is there's different types of players in games. Some people have more money than time, and some people have more time than money. And you want to always balance those two. We pulled off on the microtransactions because the consumers caught us red-handed trying to take advantage of players through our pay-to-win mechanic. The reality is there's different types of players in games. Some people have more money than time, and some people have more time than money. And we want the players' money, so our system was designed to give us the best possible chance to get it.
Moss, do you trust me?
No.
Do you trust me?
No, I don't trust you.